How are we doing there, boys and girls? Manthieus here, and welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to talk about a little topic of conversation that's been thrown, or at least the questions have been thrown my way a fair amount the last few days, and it's got to do with the fact that people are hitting sort of level 50 with their professions, and then they're in this work order situation. They're in a situation where they're having to level up and they've got to get those skill points, and seemingly the only way to do it in many cases is by filling work orders. The only patterns they have available to them are these bind on pickup patterns, and it's a struggle. And what this is ultimately meaning is that most people are missing 30, maybe 40 potential skill points, meaning that they could be falling behind ever so quickly with their main profession skill, and maybe struggling as we're about to go into the start of season 1. They may be struggling to hit those recipe difficulty thresholds, and these extra skill points could be really handy. Now, of course, filling work orders normally is a bit of a, how should I describe this politely? It's a bit of a chore. You got to be going through trade, you got to be going through /2, you got to be spamming in trade chat what it is that you're able to craft, and you got to, for the most part, keep your fingers crossed and hope that somebody comes along to actually want that piece of gear. Now, a real life scenario that I wanted to showcase to you, if you happen to be like me, who has taken one of my professions in the direction where my main focus is not actually crafting gear. My main focus with jewel crafting has been prospecting. I've spec'd very aggressively into being able to prospect and to be able to prospect efficiently so that I can both guarantee quality 3 gems if I get the ore at the right price, and so on and so on. What this has meant is that I don't have many. I haven't spec'd into settings at all, so I haven't got the ring or neck patterns. I also haven't spec'd very heavily into faceting, which is where all of your gem cuts come from. This has ultimately meant that I don't have many options to get these last skill points, and for a good few days I was stuck at sort of skill 80 or so. What this led me to do then, there is a solution to this, and this is what I wanted to focus on today, is that you can actually push your skill level without touching a single work order, but it is going to require you to do a few things. The first thing I had to do was go and get this ring-bound hourglass pattern. Now, this is an auction house pattern. I needed something that gives me skill points. If you're struggling for anything that's going to actually give you skill points at all, take a little bit of a scroll down to the bottom of your profession and take a little bit of a look in the unlearned section. If you don't see the unlearned section, make sure that you've got it ticked in the filters here. You will still see all the recipes you don't have, and you'll also be able to still see if those recipes are going to give you skill in any way, shape or form. You need one of these. At the time, I was desperately trying to get at least one of these, and because I was quite lucky that I had a sizable amount of gold available, I was able to just buy a pattern off the auction house. Your alternative for your profession might be to do a little bit more rep grinding, maybe do even a little bit of fishing. Worst case scenario, maybe spend a few spec points in a direction you weren't strictly planning on going, just to get that pattern. You do need that one pattern that's going to give you something. Now, obviously this is where the problem lies. If we just try and craft this, it's sure, great, it gives us 3 skill points, but it's going to take a spark of ingenuity, and it's going to take a whole bunch of primal chaos. And now that's going to get expensive very quickly, especially when we can only get 1 spark of chaos every 2 weeks. And more importantly, we are probably going to want to spend our sparks of chaos elsewhere. Now, this is where recrafting comes into play. This is where it really gets a little bit clever. If you do choose to sacrifice one of your sparks of ingenuity to craft one of these, you will gain your 3 points by doing it. I should obviously clarify that it doesn't need to be strictly this recipe, but any recipe that you're able to get your hands on. If you craft a single piece of gear for yourself, I mean, throw it on your character. You might as well use it. A 386 is better than nothing. But you want to take it and you want to recraft it, because although the game doesn't do a great job of saying such, there is this little line here: you can gain skill whilst recrafting, but at a much reduced rate. This is what's got me from 80-ish skill points all the way up to 94 so far. Now, this is going to come at a cost though. This is why it gets expensive. Not selling your wares via trade chat and not engaging with the work order system, this might be an alternative, but it's going to be an expensive one. Mainly because every single recraft is going to use artisan metal. Now, don't feel that you actually need to use top quality components here, because our aim is not really to craft this at the top quality, it's just to recraft it a bunch. You see I recrafted it there. Luckily I saved the elemental harmony. We recrafted again. See, we're still at 94. It might take us a few times to get a skill point. There we go, we hit skill 95. We're working our way up. Every time it's taking an artisan's metal, which I can't argue is a little bit expensive and certainly not a perfect scenario to be in, but this will be the saving grace. This will be your way if you really, really, really need those last few skill points. Maybe you are trying to push quality in whatever it is you're doing. Hey, look, we even got an inspiration proc there and we made it at quality 4. I might do this a few more times to push to skill 100. Let's see how much of my artisan's metal I can waste for the video here. Now, obviously, going forward, you would probably try and do something slightly more less cost-effective, more cost-effective than this. Inspired proc again, we're up to 97. I have insufficient reagents. I've run out of elemental harmony. I'll leave it there for now. But I hope this proves a point that there is light at the end of the tunnel if you're trying to grind those last few points and you're really not having any luck with the work order system. I, for one, despise the fact that we have to be jumping about, screaming and shouting in trade chat to try and get any attention, to get any custom, which is the #1 reason why I chose to build my professions in a direction that doesn't strictly focus on gear. But of course, this is the downside of it. But I hope that little video helps you, boys and girls. Let me know in the comments down below if you've stumbled across this yourself. Let me know how you're getting on with the professions in Dragonflight. I have been slightly less active with the YouTube videos recently for the #1 reason that we've been streaming in a whole bunch over the last few days. We're streaming practically every day at the moment. Twitch.tv/Manthieus. Please come over, say hi. You can, by all means, ask any goal-making questions or any question you like, realistically. I might not answer it, but you can always ask. But yeah, let me know what you think on that, boys and girls. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing if you're new around here. And I'll see you all next time. Peace.